we're gonna roll on your list. I just brought one because there was really only one that just really ate on my nerves, and it's kind of we've brought it up before. So
there's plenty of them, and we're going to do more and more. But this one right here, this is one thing that I hate that they do. I just played the Suikoden HD remake. They do it right. They do it a little bit here, but you've seen it millions of times. I call it chest in the throne room. So what that means is, so the fun thing about these old school RPGs is getting loot, getting gear, getting experience, getting strong, finding chests that are actually important. And everybody knows the chest in the final boss room has the best thing in it. So you're cruising through the dungeon, you walk into a room, and there's a chest. Let's just give an example. There's many examples. There's a chest in the top right of the room, and then the sprite for the boss or king or whoever. And as soon as you walk in, you think you're going to go get the chest before you talk to the guy. Do us a cut scene, massive battle. For some reason, the party has to run after they've defeated the boss is collapsing or something. You never got to get the chest. You got to come back later, like, a few hours later to get the chest. Well, don't tease me. Now I feel like I'm missing something. I'm OCD. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? This happens all the time. There's a chest there. They just tease you with it, and it's impossible to get.
Oh my gosh, I hate that.
Yeah, they do that.
So
they did
bad. Like you're firing up my rant.
It's OCD stuff.
Rantometer. We need to have
That's
a
what it's
little
all gonna be,
rantometer. We need to have a rantometer scale over here to see how bad Clearfire's rantometer gets.
They just have it there, like even when you're not talking, have it there.
Just ease up as you see. Yeah, because this one's setting me up. Because I can't tell you how many times that's made me so mad. You go into the game, you see that chest, it's there. Why do you stop me from getting it? Why did they do that? Like, I want to know why did they think that was a good idea to say, hey, look, here's the chest, but you can't have it. You can't have this chest. Nah. I mean, it's...
And they put it there in that room, right?
And the thing is I could understand if they put it in the room and, like, there's no way for you to get around the sprite to get to it, but they put it in the room, and it's this massive room that you clearly could walk around the sprite and dodge it.
Get the chest, then talk.
And then talk.
Yeah.
Then let me get the chest and talk. Don't put this imaginary barrier there where I can't get this chest that you've dangled in front of me, that you've clearly given me an open way to get to it. That's It's like the game designers are like, haha, I'm gonna mess with them a little bit, and then I mean, the chest is not ungettable. You can get it. It's not just a decoration, right? It's there that you can get later on when you have to come back to the abandoned castle because of some events that happened like 8 hours later in the story, and then you go back to, oh, now I can get the chest. It's like, I don't know if they're making you think, I got to keep playing because I got to see what's in that chest. I don't know if that's the reason, you know what I'm saying? Like, or if it's just a fun joke amongst the designers, but that's just... What makes that even worse is when the stupid chest is just a heal potion.
Oh gosh, if it's something... So that I have not, unless I'm playing Skyrim. Like, it's like,
when it's trash.
It's not gosh. I know, but it's usually never trash. It's usually something really good, and it's good because, like we just said, when it's in the throne room, it's going to be something good. That's why you're like, oh, I've just spent an hour and a half going through this dungeon, getting and everything I get's good. So this is upgrades, and like, oh, the final boss is either going to drop something good or there's going to be something good right around us because I've made it this far. They reward you. That's what they used to do. And then they reward you with teasing you that, oh, you will get something better later. Well, I already knew that. I knew that before I started playing the game.
But it's like, something better later. I want something better now.
For somebody that's like, most people that like a lot of people that play these games are like OCD, ADD, like you have these things like you're like zoned in and you're like, oh my gosh, like you got to be a completionist. You got to be. So these things bother more than they do. At least me, they bother me more than they make it more fun.
I'm like over here twitching thinking about that because it makes me so mad because of my ODD and my ODD. Yeah, I have ADHD and OCD. OCD, so it's ODD. Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But yeah, it just dude, that just chaps me, especially when you're playing a game that's
why they do it
almost linear though. Like
Why do you
sometimes
think
those
they did
RPGs, one of two things you brought. I mean, you brought it up just a minute ago to tease you, to try to make you want to keep playing. To say, "Oh, I'll get something good later," and then as just a cruel joke. I think it's one of the two. I really do. I mean, honestly, because it's like, you really think a chest is going to hook me? That's what I think when I think that side, when you bring that one up. I'm like, but game designers sometimes could be a little pompous about what they're doing and think, oh well, if I put this chest here and they can't get it, they're gonna want to keep on playing to get that chest because they're gonna know that something's good in there.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna keep playing. I'm gonna make them play longer.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's more of the sick joke thing, saying, yeah, let's dangle that carrot in front of them. Let's just dangle that carrot, because that makes more sense to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that's one of the most frustrating things. I'm glad they kind of. I mean, I haven't played a game that do that in a while.
Yeah, but I mean, Monster Hunter Wilds, I get stuff all the time. Want to fight a monster, of course I have to farm them to get what I'm looking for, but I at least feel rewarded every time. Borderlands, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, every time I'm fighting something, I'm getting something to drop, so I don't feel like I'm getting cheated there. But yeah, I can think many times on Nintendo and Super Nintendo and Genesis.
Yeah, mostly Super Nintendo or maybe early PlayStation. Mm-hmm. What? All right. Well, do you want to do yours, or you want to wait? You want to go?
I'm gonna see if yours happens to be, if yours and mine actually collide. We'll see.
Next one. This one spurred the podcast. This is from. I can tell you exactly where it's from. Final Fantasy IX. This one spurred the podcast for me because it's so infuriating. I'd gone back. Okay, let's go play Final Fantasy IX. I didn't really play that one. I mean, I played it through once. I think I've only played it through once. And I was like, well, I got it. Let me go check it out. And I got it back into it. And it was like, man, this is actually a pretty fun game. Not a fan of the animals being humans. I think that's stupid. But
yeah, I can't. That's
got to talk to the hippopotamus cook. And it's like,
that's been a full stop for me. The funny thing is that's a full stop for me. But yet I'm playing Monster Hunter Wilds, where my people that I deal with a lot are palicos or cats.
Yeah, but you can get. I know that, but it's not near the same for some reason.
It's so much different. It's so much different because they're like NPCs that are very like not involved in the story. So
anyway, hippos and it's weird. I mean, like a sack. One of their characters is like a sack that's got a little button. I mean, it's just like, dude, come on. I don't know what that. I hate that. No. That makes sense. It doesn't fit in the physics of the universe. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's PlayStation trying to bring Sackboy into this.
Well, no, but it doesn't. It doesn't. That's the reason it doesn't fit in the physics. Like people used to get so mad that loved Lord of the Rings. You remember that scene? Mm-hmm. I think it's on the first one where Legolas grabs the reins of the horse and somehow magically gets thrown on the back of it as they're running on the field. It is against all physical rules in that universe, right? And you're like, that's ridiculous. He grabs the right side, and then it somehow gets thrown around as he's just standing there, thrown around on the back of the horse. And you say, that doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, well, they got orcs, and the orcs, there's no such thing as orcs in magic, and you're talking about that. And it's like, look, when you make a movie, you can create a world, and everybody can suspend disbelief if everything is consistent and makes sense. But if he just pulled a machine gun out, you go, oh, well, they didn't have magic either. Why does it surprise you that he pulls a machine? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't
consistency
fit.
Side of it.
It does not fit. And neither does Sack Man in Final Fantasy IX and then Hippopotamus Cook. So,
yeah.
And then the main character with a tail. So,
yeah, I agree. That does make some games hard to play because once you start, you've got this fantasy world that's been built. But if you set certain things in motion, that needs to stay consistent.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, if you don't have people bending the reality of physics from the very get-go, then having it happen one little time like that makes that one little time stand out and just make you think, why did they do that? And then that creates the part of pulling you out of the game and no longer can enjoy it. For me, it was with Final Fantasy. I'm glad you brought that one. It was a prime example. I can't play it because of the animal people. Yeah. Like when I was used to playing Final Fantasy, which is, what 4 and 6, or 2 and 3 for us in America. Playing 2 and 3, and then playing Final Fantasy 7 and 8, and then you hit 9, and you got these animal people. I know that in 7 you had Red X, or Red 12, whatever his name is, the dog guy.
13.
But 13. But you couldn't, but that one didn't really feel like it broke the game. Like, it didn't feel like it just changed so much. When your main character is this animal person, you know, that just threw it off for me. And it was like, I can't do that. You totally broke the feel of what you set in place from all these others.
Thing is, though, this isn't even that is not even the thing that bothers me about retro games. That was just a side note. Sounds like you're about to go off on it. Here's what bothered me about Final Fantasy 9. That is a something, but I think they still do it in main games too. But here's the thing that the Final Fantasy 9 did. I don't get. This serves nothing but to hurt the player. Seriously. You're in like an ice cave or something, and you're going through, and like I said, I played it for the first time again. It's like, okay, well, then we get in there, and it takes, I thought it took an hour. It seemed like a long time to get through this dungeon. It's like, I don't remember where it is. I thought it was relatively early. You obviously get free roam, and then like, you go through the ice cave, fighting, and then you come to a fork in the road. There's 2 forks. All right, you don't know which one's which. There's no indicator whatsoever. Here's the thing. If you go left, there's a save spot where you can use your tent and save. If you go right, it's an automatic cutscene to the boss. And I went right. Automatic cutscene to the boss. I was not ready for a fight. I didn't know. Save point's usually an indicator that, okay, there's going to be a boss fight. Smoked me. Had to go to the last save point, which was about an hour and a half early. That'll make you cut the game off. Why did you make it a chance? It's literally a 50-50 shot that I'm going to be able to save and heal before I go to this boss. There's no, like I said, there's no indicators whatsoever. It splits in 2. This serves but no purpose but to infuriate a player. And that's why that right there is the sole purpose I wanted to do this why, this podcast.
Yeah.
Why would you do it that way?
That's insane. And to throw it out like this, I remember, when we're playing like Final Fantasy, I'm just going to call it 3 because it's just easier in my head to do that right now. But you'd play that and you'd be going through a dungeon and you'd get to a point and you'd walk up on a safe space. Well, you're like, I know what's fixing to happen. I better save.
Boss.
I'm fixing to hit a boss. That happens in almost all the Final Fantasies getting up to there. And then all of a sudden they're going to do that to you where they don't give you an indicator of which way to go. Like, it's usually right in front of your face, the save spot, right before a boss fight. That's ridiculous, especially when you can't just like games nowadays where you can literally just save it anywhere, almost any game,
they didn't
and
do
pick
that.
it up right where you're at. And those games back then didn't. You had to get to a save point. And now you just burned an hour plus time, and you got to go back and redo that entire hour plus just to get back to that point, just to have that, again, 50-50 chance, even though you know now which way to go. If for some reason you forgot, you could do this all over again.
There was a creator of Final Fantasy 9 at a Comic-Con that we're going to be at, I would literally wait in line just to ask him that question. Like, what? And I would go back and try to find the exact place and everything. Remember Ice Cavern? And, why did you... So, if you're trying to show that, hey, this is a different Final Fantasy, you never know what's going to happen. I get it. Maybe you walk to the right where the boss is. You walk in the room and you see the little sprite of the boss, so you go, oops, and you need to back out. But if you keep going forward, then the cutscene starts. Maybe. I don't like that either, but it's better than as soon as you go through, you don't get a chance to move or anything. Boom, cutscene. You better win. I know you used all your magic and all that to get through the cave, and now you're broke. And I want to say it was earlier on because you didn't have all the ethers and as much as you might want. But nobody, that's a huge wasted turn. It's like 2 turn. Well, not necessarily 2, but it could be 2. If your magic user's on 0, you got to have another character use so he has to skip. The other character use an ether. So you just wasted 2 turns. I think you had like 3, 4. No more. I think you had 4 party members. But like, yeah, dude, that was just infuriating. There's no reason. That serves no purpose whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's That's how you make.
Gosh,
That's how you make
man.
people quit playing video games, right there.
You did when you lose a save state that goes back. If when you like, hey, I got to go redo, because you're gaining levels, you're getting great items. Like, oh, you're thinking it through. I don't put this item on this character because of this other character has this, and oh, she learned the new cure spell, so cool. Now I can switch that item back, because you had to wear the armor to learn the spell. And so you're making a lot of moves and a lot of strategizing and stuff like that. That's what's so fun about the game. You go there and get wiped. All that work you've just done and all that thinking, you set it and forget it. You don't got to go back and you're like, what did I do, man? I don't know. I had it set up, and now I got to go play an hour and a half, 2 more hours of wasted time.
Well, what makes that even worse is the RNG factor and all that.
Exactly. So you could have got some item that
you probably got an item. You play it the first time, you got an item that's a rare drop. You go play it, and you have to go back again and play it again. You might not get that weapon or that armor or that whatever. And no, that's, oh my gosh, dude. The rageometer, rantometer is just climbing after that one. That's all that.
I mean, why would you make a game that does that? I mean, that's the game's supposed to be fun for everybody.
You're aiming to make somebody mad. That's your aim right there.
So 2 of them, this reason I bring them is I can't figure out why. This is my last one. I can kind of figure out why, but I don't like it. So the last one, I'll go with this one, then you can go with yours. It's kind of in the same, similar vein. We mentioned it, but missable items. I don't like missable items. Final Fantasy X set me on this one.
Oh, yes.
Final Fantasy X remake and the Secret of Mana remake. I tried to do both of these. Secret of Mana remake on PlayStation 4. I wanted to get a platinum on it, and I was enjoying the game. One of the achievements is get all the items. Well, I didn't realize one of these floating fortresses that you go through once had rare drops that if you don't get them then, you're done. So now guess what? I got to go play the game again 30 more hours and just to get that one item. Now I'm good. I won't do it. I think I end up turning it off. Final Fantasy X is a little more, because you can kind of say, well, Secret of Mana was not made with trophies in mind. That's an old school game. They just kept it true, and I get that. Neither was Final Fantasy X, but it's a little bit more impactful. All these Al-Bhed primers you're trying to get. Yeah, and I cranked up the game and said, okay, that's one of the achievements as well. I was enjoying playing it through. 1 or 2 of the primers are gone forever because they were in some building that got destroyed. You can't have it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying, too?
The one that gets you is the one almost at the beginning of the game before you land on the island or the land that Waka's on that boat. If you miss that one on the boat, it's impossible to go back and get it.
Yeah, stupid.
Impossible.
Yeah, so you will never learn the language the first time through.
Nope.
So they're trying to give you replayability, but I mean, you still have to find them. I mean, it should let me, if I know that it's in this cave, I just missed it. Should give some kind of indicator or some kind of beacon, some kind of. Well, even that's what they would do nowadays for sure. Yeah, and that would be easier.
because you walk around somewhere and all of a sudden you start hearing a sound. Okay, so my son's playing Goat Simulator 3 right now. He loves the game, and when you get near one of their little trophies or trinkets that they call it, it starts making this hum. Now, it doesn't show you exactly where it is, but there's something in the area, and it gives you that indicator. If Final Fantasy X would have done that, you would have found that Al-Bhed primer right away on the boat before you go across. You wouldn't have had to walk anywhere. You would have heard it hum. You would have found it. You'd have picked it up. You'd have been good. Same way with the other places where you would have heard the hum, you heard the whatever, picked it up, and been good. Yeah, but not getting any indicator. I mean, I understand having hidden items. Well, I get that.
Even if it's not
in the world.
Yeah, even if it's not an
give
indicator.
It an indicator.
Well, so even if you don't have an indicator, all right, and it's like, okay, I'm learning this language, and I like the way they did it. Okay, it's cool. You got to have the little primers, and it's like you're learning a real language. It's like you're slowly. I kind of understand that, and I can make that out because I got 4 of the 6 letters. I can tell what they're saying. That's really cool how they did that. But when I get to obviously getting toward the end. I'm 30 hours in. I was like, man, I'm still missing like 3 primers. Let me go search the world and try to find, even if there's no indicator, like even if it's as simple as, hey, in Waka's village, you got 1 of 2 primers, you know, and then you just, okay, well, I know another one's there somewhere. Let me go look for it.
Like I said, some kind of indicator. That's an indicator to me, and I'm good with that.
That's an indicator. Or let's just say, okay, we're no indicators because it's old school. I'm just going to go back to all these caves. I really want to find them all. I'm going to go find them. You had not, unless you had a walkthrough, you have no idea that you missed. Like there's no way you're going to be able to find this now. You don't know that. You're going to sit there and search the whole game, or then go, well, I guess this is going to be like the last one I get. Oh wait, the game's over. Well, what happened? You know,
you didn't find the books. You didn't learn the language.
Yeah, so now, what's the other option? Okay, well now I got to go back and replay the game. I got to go back and replay the game, and I have no idea where they are. So I got to search every nook and cranny before I advance the story. How fun is that? You know what I'm saying?
Not
you
have no
idea. Obviously, you got walkthroughs now, but you didn't back then. And
for everybody listening, I wish you could see my face because it just like totally dropped when he said that. It's just like
not cool.
Play it again, not cool. You know, and two, like in that same situation, if you have something like that Al Bhed primer on that boat, I know I keep on going back to that one. It's just the one example I can think of. That's the first one. My head. It's the first one. You know, if you don't get it, they should have had some kind of mechanic in the game that, okay, if they don't pick it up off this boat, let's not make it unattainable. Let's make it relocates to a place on Waka's town.
Yes.
You know, and that way you can still acquire it. Same way for those ones that Hollywood was talking about. If you don't get it at that very moment, you have one more chance to get it right before the final boss if you go back to this place and in the rubble you find it. I mean, at least make it rediscoverable in the same playthrough, because in Hollywood's world of the of getting all of the trophies and whatnot, that's great. But back in the day when it was with 10 on PlayStation 2, if you had to go back and replay it, you had to get them all again. So you couldn't miss one. You had to get them all again. You don't get that carryover.
I think they carry over.
Do
carry
they?
over. Yeah. I think you got to load it up. It depends on how you load it up. They do carry over.
Okay, well then that's my bad, because
but you have to load it separate, I think. So I could go get it, but
my assumption is it doesn't carry over, because a lot of times save states kept things very separate in games. So,
I think pretty sure it carries over.
Still,
yeah, it's been so long since I played it, because that was kind of the thing, because you would never get the full language. The primers carry over, because that was kind of the thing. I mean, I get the whole playthrough is not. Oh, I want to. So, because they're going to speak in that Al Bhed language early in the game, and you don't know what they're saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of the play. If you could get all the primers, you could go back there and like, oh, now I can play it again and I can know all of the dialogue. I think that's cool. But you're making it missable. So, and again, it wasn't made for trophies, so that's one thing.
But usually on your second playthrough of a game like that, you're not worried about getting something like that. You're worried about getting your ultimate weapons and all of your major power-ups and making your characters just, God level characters at that point. Yeah. When you do your second playthrough, you're not wanting to try to get something that's as important as like dialogue in the story interpreted. And that's what makes me mad about that one. And it's always made me mad about that one, because it's like, this is important parts of the story that we would understand it deeper if we were able to get it and get them all on a single playthrough, on the first playthrough, without having to have all this extra help and all of this other things like this. If you just put some kind of indicator, X of 2 in this area or whatever, something to indicate that we've either gotten them all or not. That's.
Well, that's all the 3 that I brought to the table today. So what's your one? Did I say yours?
No, you actually did not. Okay. And so that's why I kind of wanted to hang tight. So I think mine goes a little bit more retro than yours does. I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay.
Because when Hollywood mentioned this to me, the only thing that came to my mind was the one thing that just annoyed me to no end with games back then. Mega Man is a perfect example of this. Ninja Gaiden, however you want to say it. Perfect example is pixel perfect movement. That annoyed the fire out of me, because if you didn't get it exactly perfect, you did not make the jump. Ninja Gaiden is a great example, because when we did playthroughs of it and did a review of it, I was trying to make this one jump, and if you don't make it pixel perfect, you never make it. And it's just insane, because it's like just millimeters, that's like that. Mega Man, great example of it. It's pixel perfect. If you land this pixel perfect right here, you get on the ledge. If you don't, you fall. And you got to hit that pixel perfect movement every time to make it to all these jumps. Mega Man, you've got power-ups to get, and if you don't hit those pixel perfect jumps, you can't get those power-ups. It drove me insane playing it.
Well, yeah, those can be frustrating for sure. And it's like, if you're going to have pixel perfect, you need to make sure the controls are rock solid. And generally, super Mega Man's controls are really tight, unless it comes out in the Genesis, which they were terrible. Genesis is known for a little bit of slip. But yeah, if it's... I could see why... I mean, some of that might have been just not knowing about games at the time, like how to program it, so hit detections and stuff like that. Some of it could have been that they want to make it super hard because the replayability, like in terms of, because those are $50 back in the day, in 19 or 50 or 60, and back, I think I say 50, but back in 1986, dude, that's like $100 now at least.
It's a big deal.
So they want to make sure you got your money's worth. So that's the argument for that.
I get the argument.
Well, that's what we're trying to do is get the. I'm just saying. Remember, we're trying to figure out why.
Even Ninja Gaiden, though, it's like,
it's certainly hard. Like
those controls to me aren't the tight Mega Man controls, and that's why I brought the two up, because Mega Man, rock solid controls. You know that your character's gonna jump with the. It's really good. There's no input lag. It's really good. There are times in Ninja Gaiden where there's lag. There's times in Ninja Gaiden where it's just not the tightest of controls. And when you're on that one board, and I forget what level it is, you're trying to jump from a cliff over, and there's a bird that's flying through at the exact time that you make the jump, and it clips you every time if you don't do it pixel perfect. And that's the one that drove me nuts, because it's like, why make that one little jump the hardest thing ever to stop you from going on further in the game? That's ridiculous to me. Ridiculous. And it's a pixel perfect thing. I'm like, why?
Yeah, those are frustrating for players, especially newer players. And that I mean, like, well, even now, like, I liked Mega Man's. And I won't say now.
Oh, I did too. Mega Man X, I loved Mega Man X,
It's been probably, 2009 when Mega Man 9 and 10 released on Xbox 360 in the old school 8-bit format. And so you're like, cool, let's check it out. And then you realize how hard they are again. They kept it the same difficulty, and you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to master this game, man.
Well, then you had Mega Man 11 that came out.
Yeah, Mega Man 11 was good.
That was great. And it was still the 8-bit-esque gaming, because it was the side-scrolling and everything. And that one wasn't that super tight pixel perfect. Now, you did have to hit your jumps pretty good and pretty square on, but it wasn't like so punishing for you being off by like a pixel.
Well, what I'm saying is that, like the replayability and the mastering of the games was what they get their money's worth, right? But nowadays, you wouldn't go back, and it doesn't work nowadays. And you wouldn't have, I think what I was getting at is 9 and 10 are a perfect example of, I wonder how many people actually, only the most die-hard fans. And when I think Mega Man, I think super franchise. But then when Anthony got on Mega Man super fan and was like, if a Mega Man game sells 1 million copies, they're doing great. And you're like, what?
I know, that's crazy.
1 million copies is a big deal for Mega Man. And then you look at all of the things and you're like, oh, it is a big deal. You're like, wow. So probably because of that difficulty, and like you said, the pixel perfect stuff. But
it's a high difficulty game. It's a fun game, but you have that pixel perfect. But the thing that does save Mega Man,
you got to drink every time we say pixel perfect.
I know. The controls on the Mega Man games are usually solid, great controls. You have great control of your character. When you take an example like Ninja Gaiden, it's not as tight, and that's where
Ninja
it really
Gaiden.
Gaiden. You know me.
It's from Mario. It's from the Wizard. Remember the Wizard?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look, I thought about watching it the other day. I saw it on whatever
Ninja
thing.
Gaiden.
Almost did. But it's just that, not having those tight controls and the pixel perfect. That's what really is the one that sets it there.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because I kind of gave Clear not a whole lot of build up. Just like, hey, let's talk about things in retro games that annoy us, and that's the first thing that popped in your head. That tells you right there.
As soon as you said that, that's what popped in my head.
Yeah. And so, like I said, the fork in the road save. Nah, man, that ain't cool. That's the one that's the worst one to me. But
fork in the road without letting you know.
Yeah, that's a game stopper, and some missable items is too. But the chest in the throne room, that's it's just kind of like, I know I'm going to get it eventually, but it's just kind of like, man, don't do that.
Yeah.
But it's not, that's, you can kind of you can deal with that. But the other, it's like very frustrating. But anyway, man, hopefully, like I said, this will be like a series, because there's a ton of things we can talk about of like, what were they thinking? That's really the question. That's the question for retro games. So, dude, I'm glad we got to do this one this morning, because I know we're both on a time crunch today. And so I like it, though. I like the morning. Got a coffee.
It's not bad.
Chop up. Yeah. Start the game off right with a little H&K discussion. So
yeah, that'll hopefully make the day a little bit more easier to digest. I have to go deal with vendors now.
If you guys have something that you don't like about retro games, let us know in the comments. Let us know on your podcast comments. Shoot us an email, hnkexp@gmail.com. Go to hnkexp.com. And do we have like a little comment section or like a...
Yeah.
Man, let us know.
Yeah, there's a place where you can send us messages and whatnot. Go there, hit us up, give us a message on there. We'll see it.
Yeah, we'll mention it. So,
there should be a little floating button that you can leave us a voice message on, whatever you feel like.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you next time. Laters.
Take care, everyone.
I get money.